you go, Malcolm. That's a hell of a job.
There ain't much you can't do on the field, dude. You got me? I'm telling you right now, this year could be whatever you want it to be. Everything's open for you right now. You got me? You just got to go take it and do it.
Watch Rodriguez. Watch Rodriguez. Sick of saying this about a rookie. What do y'all want me to do? Put him out there first? Because that's what's about to happen. And this ain't nothing against you, Rodriguez. Matter of fact, you're playing your ass off, dude. But it's a rookie who I'm doing everything I can not to put out here first. I'm sick of saying it. He's in the same drills y'all are in. Step 2, pull the lineman off. Soon as he come off, rock back. The ball gonna be there. Keep playing your ass off, dude. And he's gonna continue to climb the depth chart until somebody decides I'm not gonna let this rookie take my job. He ain't a first round pick. He ain't a second round pick. He ain't a third round pick. He ain't a fourth round pick. What round did you go?
6.
Now, if he's the better guy, he's the better guy. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But it's the fact that he's doing it right.
Yeah. Man, that gets me all fired up right there for Kelvin Shepard as the new defensive coordinator. We got to talk about John Morton. And, yeah, we found it necessary. It's the Villain Report off season. And we're going to talk about some of the off season on today's episode, so stay tuned.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like Lysosin was popping in like oxygen when boxes win. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running and maybe we just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning. It's crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. I am your host, Russell Wayne, and I will be with you for the next few minutes here. This is the off season, so our shows aren't as long, and we're not doing as many shows as needed, but there's news. So that brings us to the Wednesday show. And we're broadcasting live right now from my live crew in the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page, the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page, as well as the Detroit Lions News podcast page with Joe Chapp and the boys. We are on the Huddle Sports Network on Roku, baby. That's right. And we have gotten over, we're over 60,000 villains right now. And Leon Phelps right here, he's going to take you all the way to 70,000. So we appreciate everybody that's hitting the like button and hitting the subscribe button. And thank you for doing that. So welcome one, welcome all. We are brought to you by NFL Shop. You can get your swag by scanning that QR code. Save up 25% off from our affiliate marketing partners from NFL Shop. That's right. Good morning to everybody, such as Davies in the house.
You like that?
Matthews in the house.
You like that?
Muskegon Posse, Charles in the house. Chuck.
You like that? Say hello to my little friend.
And I appreciate all my live folks coming on here, because this is the way that we're going to do it during the off season, all the way up until training camp, as needed. obviously one of our biggest shows of the year is going to be the draft special. So we'll definitely be going during the off-season part there a lot. But then there is a lull. So we definitely have our coordinators in place. And I like the signings. I mean, here's the thing. You got Johnny Morton, not John Morton, not the receiver. I know everybody's done that joke. But John Morton was announced as the new offensive coordinator for the Lions. And he comes from Denver. He was the passing game coordinator. And he used to be here in Detroit. And I think that I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. I want to be able to get the right words out. He's familiar with the system, and you can't overstate that when it comes with the way that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell do things. You have to have familiarity. And like I had said on Monday, when this was just a possibility, you don't want to go outside of the organization. That's why you hired Kelvin Shepard. You don't want to go outside the organization. John Morton was here in 2022 when Ben Johnson was promoted to offensive coordinator. So he's been here during the terminology. He's done some really good things. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets in 2017. Had Josh McCown, had his best year as a pro. Robbie Anderson had his best season as a pro. So he was a passing coordinator for the Broncos. He was the senior offensive assistant and spent 3 years prior to that in the same role with the Raiders organization. So he was the OC for the New York Jets in 2017, and he's been coaching for 25 years. Now, the Lions did lose wide receiver coach Antoine Randall, assistant quarterback coach JT Barrett. And you know, those are significant losses, but the Lions have been bringing that culture of being able to develop not only players, but coaches. So I like the Johnny Morton signing. I especially like the Kelvin Shepard signing. The Kelvin Shepard one is one that I called really during the season. You got next man up sitting here. No, honestly, I thought that Scotty Montgomery might have a shot at becoming offensive coordinator. A lot of people thought that Tanner Ekstrom was a shoe-in for the offensive coordinator, but they decided to go this way, which means that the Lions may end up losing Tanner Ekstrom. Now, from the outside world, Tanner, I mean, you would say who? But Tanner Ekstrand is a nice young mind. I do believe that we are going to be able to lose him this year because, he may feel a certain way about not getting the offensive coordinator position. It seemed like he was being groomed for it. A lot of the podcasters that are out there said as much, that he was being groomed for the position, but it didn't really work out that way. Chad's in here, says that he really wishes that they would bring in Calvin as a wide receiver coach. They did the right thing with Barry. That deal was awesome. Oh, what'd they do with Barry? Well, Barry Sanders became a part owner. So, the old regime did not take care of ex-Lions players. That's been documented a lot over the years, and it sucks because you want your favorite team. It had been hard to follow the Lions for a long time. As a matter of fact, I followed them so long that when I would bring them up, I'm a performer. So I go up on the stage, and I toured for 20 years as a musician. And one thing that I used to do, and I still do, is I sing the Lions fight song at my sold out shows. And it used to be that nobody would sing the fight song. I would get laughed off of this, and I get that, I'm a fan of the team. It's been hard to be a Lion fan, and it's okay. But over the years, it's gotten a little bit better right there. Now, Calvin Johnson, as a wide receiver coach, I don't know if he can coach. Can he coach? I know he was a great receiver, but that doesn't mean that he can coach. I mean, Calvin Johnson did, he prepared like no other whatever, but you can't teach people how to be 6'5" and faster and jump higher than everybody. He can't teach people to do what he did. It's like, all right, I'm going to teach you how to be a freak. All right, here you go. Now, be taller than everybody and faster than everybody. And when they throw you the ball, just jump up over everybody and catch it. All right, that's what you need to do. So I don't know if there's techniques or awesome things that Calvin Johnson did to get open, other than throw the ball up and watch how I jump up and catch it over you. I don't know how much of a use that's going to be to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Because you can't teach 5'10" how to be 6'5". So I don't know. Maybe he can coach. Maybe he's got a gift like that he could coach. But I don't know about that. Now, I do need to say that I have no faith in the new OC. He's been involved in nothing but losing Raiders, Broncos, the Broncos, the Jets. Not good. I don't like it at all. I really thought we were going to promote from within. They did kind of promote from within, Chad. I love this move because he was here as the passing game coordinator 2022. And I'm not going to undersell what Johnny Morton was. I got to find this here. I'm not going to. The Broncos, the Jets, the Broncos, for one, he had a rookie quarterback that was definitely up for Rookie of the Year, so he definitely helped the Broncos this year. The Jets have, this is what he was working with. Powell, Robbie Anderson, and Josh McCown, who all three of those guys had career years in 2017 with the Jets. So, show me an example of Johnny Morton here where he coached and had a lot of talent on his team. I mean, that's what I'll ask you. I mean, what kind of talent was he coaching over there in the Raiders, in the Broncos, and the Jets? Because the two examples you brought up, Chad, Broncos and the Jets, he definitely made a positive improvement on those teams. Now, if you go and you become the offensive coordinator for the Jets and your quarterback is Josh McCown and your number one receiver is Robbie Anderson, I mean, if you wanna crucify him for not winning a Super Bowl with Josh McCown, I guess that's fair. So, and you know, you don't have any faith in him, so I guess we don't need to watch the Lions next year. You got to look at his players, what he's done to. He hasn't had all of the weapons. There it is. Right there. Right there. Richard agrees with me. Now, John Morton has familiarity. That is somewhat of a promoting from within. If he was going to go outside of the organization, he wanted somebody that was here. He wanted somebody that had familiarity with the terminology, because the offensive coordinator coming into this team at this point in the rebuild that is done being rebuilt, we are competing for titles now. We are trying to win our first championship. I shouldn't say championship. We won 4 championships. The first Super Bowl. And this regime has given the Lions the best opportunity to do that. Now, John Morton, now, if you want an offensive coordinator that's going to come in and try to change everything, I mean, I don't know if that you really want that. Honestly, when you look at this, I would be frothing at the mouth as an offensive coordinator here. John Morton has never had an opportunity like this before. Even in 2022. You had an ascending Amon-Ra St. Brown, no Jameson Williams. You had no Jahmyr Gibbs. You had Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. That's what was here. And the offense took its leap. You know, they started out 0-6, and then they turned it around. So that was under Johnny Morton. That was under John Morton. Passing game coordinator. This is an example of somebody that's been grinding throughout his whole career. He's never been given a good opportunity before. But when you look at his track record, it looks like he's made the most out of every opportunity. So I don't mind it. I don't mind it. You got a guy that I don't think is going to rock the boat. This is Jared Goff's team. The offensive line and the depth and everybody that's been here for 3 years, they know what's going on. So that allows John Morton to come in here, doesn't have to reinvent the wheel, gets to use the epitome of his creativity with the best weapons in football. Because that's the thing I think people seem to forget. Oh my God, we lost Ben Johnson. Okay, that's a huge loss. Ben Johnson helped us rebuild this entire thing on offense. But there's talent here. You know, it remains to be seen if somebody else can't do what Ben Johnson did with all of this talent. So don't be surprised if John Morton is really good. at being a defensive coordinator. John says this. It says, does Megatron even want to coach? I don't know. I don't know. Daniel says, any thoughts on the possibility of NFL games being rigged? This is a topic that keeps getting discussed more and more. God is good. Now, are the games rigged? Now, let's define what rigged is so I don't get myself in trouble here. For this, I'm going to say that NFL games being rigged is that, from what people say, is that it's already scripted. They already wrote it out. Patrick Mahomes going to win 3 in a row. It's all rigged. I don't believe that. Now, do I believe that money can penetrate the sanctity of the NFL and possibly get some calls here and there to influence where games go? I think that's possible. But as far as a 32-team conspiracy where all these players want to live their dream, but then they get into the NFL, everybody keeps it quiet, and we all just go with the script with the best competitors in the world. You're going to ask all of these guys to be, I mean, you have to get everybody, all 1,800 guys, to go along with it, sign confidentiality agreements. It's not rigged. It's not rigged. It's not rigged, but money can influence things. I think that money can get into the game and maybe get a call or get, one guy that had pockets that they could get to. Jerry Jones made a deal in the back room that never gets talked about. Now, can 2 people keep a secret? Whatever. Maybe eventually something like that will come out. But as far as the entire league-wide conspiracy that says the NFL is rigged and, everybody gets in a back room and all 1,800 of these guys decide where they're going to go, and then Vince McMahon comes in and says, then Stone Cold comes in and hits you with a rock bottom and a Stone Cold Stunner. I don't think that's there. Wow, here's a big surprise. Broski Bear is insulting the hire. Wow, I really expected you to come in and be like, yeah, we're so scared now because we're the Bears. Your team's awesome. You did good moves. I would never expect that from you, Broski. I wouldn't ever expect you to be objective or give the Lions any credit. So, there you go. Broski Bear doesn't think that Johnny Morton is very good. Okay, cool. Awesome. I definitely think that Dan Campbell should get Coach of the Year. Quite possibly, unforeseen forces have kept it out the past 2 years out of the Super Bowl. That's just my opinion. God is good. I don't know if I can agree with you on that. I love what Dan Campbell's done here. Dan Campbell, quite possibly. I mean, you could make the argument for Dan Campbell to win Coach of the Year. I mean, you got a progression. 3-13-1 to 9-8, 12-5, 15-2. I mean, you can obviously see, all jokes aside, to choking in the playoffs, which every team does, other than Patrick Mahomes, which I think is funny. Why people would just only make fun of my team because they choked. Everybody choked. How about that Josh Allen? Guess that Patrick Mahomes voodoo doll didn't work. Still can't beat him. But no, I think that, you know, I love to be objective and transparent in this, and I'm going to tell you right now that I think that Kevin O'Connell probably has more of a right to that. Or Dan Quinn. Because if the Lions were going to win, or I should say, if Dan Campbell was going to win Coach of the Year, I think it would have been last year. Or the year before that, going 9-8, after going 3-13-1 with a victory over Green Bay. Though one of those 2 years, I think, are better for Coach of the Year. Probably last year would have been the best chance to win Coach of the Year. This year, I mean, 15-2 is great, but you got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. So that 15-2 looks a little bit shady from that, because you wanted to not. Now, I don't like making excuses, but I'll give you reasons. Because keeps playing in my head over and over again the way that the Commanders just lost that game, and having your two best defenders out, and then you wonder, man, what would have happened if the Lions would have got a chance to play the Commanders? I mean, we don't even need all 16 of the defenders back. Lots of defenders, but if it just Hutchinson and Aleem. I want to see what the full strength defense would have done there. And I think we'll get to see that next year, because I doubt that the Lions are going to have the same injury problems, right? You know, there's a little bit of luck that goes along with that, or not luck. So, I mean, if I wish for anything in the next season, I just want the Lions to have a legitimate shot, man. Like, most of the Lions fans came out right after that Hutchinson injury. They sold them out and said, hey, there's no way they're going to win the Super Bowl. All of us Lion fans got mad at them. What do you mean? Lions can't win the Super Bowl. Next man up. Next man up. I was one of those next men. I love the fact that they kept on winning despite all of the injuries. And they told us every week that we were going to lose. Broski was in here every week. No, you're going to lose again. Huh, you're going to lose. Here come the Lions going to lose. You got all these injuries. Going to lose. I told you were going to be injured. And week after week after week, Broski was wrong over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then till finally, in the playoffs, it happened. And then all of the people that said that they were done in week 5 when Hutchinson, all of a sudden they were justified. Oh, you see, I told you. It's like you told me every week. You didn't come in here and tell me when you were wrong. You didn't say, wow, I was wrong about that. The Lions were a lot better than I thought they were going to be. So, I love this season. I love the season from the fact that, you know, franchise record. But I think every Lion fan in here would trade the 15-2 record for a 9-8 record and a Super Bowl win, because I don't give a shit how you get there. I had a hot take that wasn't all that popular after the Minnesota game that said I had a dream that if the Lions would have lost that game to Minnesota, they would have won a Super Bowl. Because they would have had to do it the hard way. They would have had to go on the road, which they were undefeated on the road. And they would have had to do it the hard way, the grit way. One thing that you can't do is you can't make a gritty team comfortable. I think we've learned that. I know that you want that 1 seed. I know that you want the bye. But where are the examples of the 1 seed going all the way? I mean, there's more examples of the underdog coming through. So, I don't know. Another disappointing end of the season for the Lions. We don't know what the other thing feels like yet, so it is. John says the SOL fans didn't even think that we would win the division. That was hard. All the rival fans told us we wouldn't win the division either. Broski said, look out. We beat you last year, so we're going to beat you. We got a new quarterback. Look out. Minnesota Vikings, oh, look out. Here come the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, yeah, here we come. We're right on your heels. We're ready for you. Sweep. Bears, sweep. Steve and the Packers. Gosh, the Packers fans talked more trash than anybody. Nobody was realistic on the Packer fan side. They were all wrong. They got swept by the Lions. They got swept by the Vikings, too. Damn. So Packers got problems. Lions got problems. The Bears are on their way up. Because I'll give the Bears credit where credit is due. Ben Johnson, you want a quarterback that's going to be able to, you want to find out if Caleb Williams is the truth? Well, why not take an offensive coordinator? Up and coming. So, I see that we got some Broski question for you. Okay. So you guys are conversating in there. Okay, let's get back to some of the positives here. It's like one of the cool things is when we discovered this Rooney Rule and we put it out there. This was a couple years back. And Brad Holmes so far has really taken advantage of like every little GM loophole that you can get. Any of the bonuses, any of the things that you can work a system, practice squad, poaching players. It's like he's got an example of all of this stuff. And now he has an example of the Lions being able to get draft compensation for developing coaches of color. Minority coaches. Under the new rule, I don't know, maybe it's just an addendum to the Rooney Rule, the Lions will get 2 third-round picks as Aaron Glenn became the head coach of the New York Jets. And that's a good move. When you really look at that, it's a very cool thing. So why are Lion fans so confident they can overcome the loss of both coordinators? Is because they knew it. They knew they were going to develop coaches. They knew that the guy, and they had a plan. I believe that 100% because everything that they've shown has shown that they have a plan. So how can they overcome the losses? Well, on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, there are 2 different reasons I think they'll overcome the losses. For one, on the defensive side of the ball, I think Kelvin Shepherd is going to put out a way better defense than Aaron Glenn did. And that's not even Aaron Glenn's fault. Yes, I'm going to say this right here. Kelvin Shepherd is going to benefit from all of the grind work of the defensive coordinator known as Aaron Glenn. Because Aaron Glenn wanted to go get his head coaching job, and that's fine. That's what we want. You know, you want that to happen. But he's going to a situation where actually the defense is really good over there. He's got more work to do on the offense. But when Aaron Glenn got here, there was no talent. I mean, we had Trey Flowers and Jamie Collins, Jeff Okuda, Jerry Jacobs. I mean, Amani Oruwariye. It was ugly. So when the regime very first got here, they took everything out of the cupboard. They took it all out. Everything. They lost money to cut players. Jamie Collins was on a huge deal that they cut, like it was, just to get out of the dead money by 2022. There's a ton going on there. He didn't have the talent. They drafted some players. They drafted a couple players here and there, but most of the draft capital and the free agency moves were geared towards getting the offense running first. The Lions wanted to be able to score points, and you could see them backtracking and then drafting defensive players. So Aaron Glenn did more with less. And now they've been drafting defensive players. And last offseason, when they drafted the 2 cornerbacks, that's what you want to do. You want to get young at that position. You got a full year of development in those rookie quarterbacks. And now out goes Aaron Glenn. In comes Kelvin Shepherd. Now, Kelvin Shepherd is going to be able to take a loaded roster. He's going to take over a loaded roster that lost 16 players last year on the defensive side of the ball. So Kelvin Shepherd's going to get all of those people back. He's not going to be changing the personnel all that much. You don't think that he's had a plan while he's being groomed for this defensive coordinator position to how he wants to run the defense with said players that he's been coaching? In this situation, I think that Kelvin Shepherd is put into a position to succeed. I feel confident that he's going to be able to come in with that talent, a healthy Aiden Hutchinson, another draft class. You're not changing too many people on there. We'll see what they do with some of these free agents and everything like that. But even the free agents, these guys aren't, these are good players, but we're not getting crazy over these players. Marcus Davenport, okay. He was injured most of the year. John Kaminsky, same thing. I expect them to sign some of these guys at a discount, but just look at these names. Emmanuel Mosley, injured. Kendall Vildor, no thank you. Michael Badgley, maybe if you want competition for Bates, but Kyle Pecco, maybe depth. Teddy Bridgewater, maybe depth. Allen Robinson, maybe depth. These guys aren't guys like, oh my God, I got to re-sign Pat O'Connor. Oh my gosh, Dan Skipper. We have to re-sign our third tackle. It's like Tim Patrick, yeah, okay. You want your solid wide receiver 3? You don't want to talk all offseason. What are we going to do at wide receiver 3? Resign Tim Patrick. No big deal. Jonah Williams, Quan Alexander, none of those guys. And then over on the priority side, even like Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes been injured for 2 years. You really want to pay him $15 million a year because he's up? Ifatu Malafanu. These guys are going to get big contracts, and you're like, okay, if he's a good player, Derek Barnes is a good player, right? Carlton Davis, that's a good player. Levi Onwuzurike, good player. But are any of those guys really worth max contracts? The bulk of the team is already under contract. Your impact players already under contract. You know, Aleem, Hutch, Kirby, Branch, Anzalone, Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez. I mean, it's all good. Some of these guys going into last year, their contract, but I think that Kelvin Shepherd is in a good position to continue the progression of these players. Aaron Glenn started when most of these defenders were on their second year. In his second year as a defensive coordinator, a lot of these players showed up. You know, Hutchinson and Aleem, and so he's coached these guys for 3 years, been around these guys for 3 years, and now these guys have developed for 3 years, and then you get inserted as your first year. He's in a way better situation than Aaron Glenn was when he started and took the role, which is why he got a head coaching job. Because a lot of people could look from the outside and go, well, how the hell did Aaron Glenn get a head coaching job? Dude gives up 30, 40 points a game. Well, it's because he had less to work with, and he did more with that less. Now, John Morton, on the other hand, I think you got a machine in there with the offense that runs. I don't even know if John Morton is going to be calling plays. I think that he may be the offensive coordinator, but Dan Campbell may still call the plays. And if you remember, when Ben Johnson very first took over as offensive coordinator, he did not call the plays. Ben Johnson did not do any of the play calling. It was Dan Campbell. And I think that you're going to see more of that. I think Dan Campbell is going to be calling the offensive plays when the season starts. Now, is Johnny Morton going to get his? Maybe. But we ain't trying to get this offensive coordinator to reinvent the wheel here. They wanted to get an offensive coordinator that understood the terminology, and then you can tweak the offense away from what Ben Johnson was doing. And honestly, I think that there isn't a lot that's going to be tweaked on the offense, and I don't think that we're going to see as many trick plays next year. Because there was a rumor that Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell weren't seeing 100% eye to eye on where they thought we should go with some of these plays. I think a lot of Lion fans would look at that, especially that last game. We love trick plays. I love it when they work. But trick plays hit your heart different when they don't work and they cost you the game. When wide receivers are throwing interceptions, that adds to a bad quarterback game. That doesn't sit well. So, from the offensive coordinator, even though we have one, I think it really is going to be more Jared Goff and Dan Campbell choosing where this offense runs or doesn't run. Frank the Tank's in the house. Detroit's offense will be top 3. Detroit Lions defense top 10. Top 3 against the run. So here we are again. We're in next year mode. So we get to say whatever we want to say all off season long. That's the difference between off season and regular season. Regular season, the news is always rolling. Got the cameras on. Every week there's brand new information. There's not going to be brand new information every week until the season starts, until we get into training camp. There's going to be brand new information. It's just not going to be all the time. Which is why I didn't come on yesterday. Which is why we're going back to 3. We're going to go 3 live shows a week. And we're releasing videos during the off season as needed. As much as you guys love me, I'm sure that we don't need to be on here talking about the backup punter, for next year. So I'm not going to spin my wheels like we did last year. We're still grinding through it. We're going to do it. Frank the Tank says Detroit will be doing trick plays next year. Dan Campbell has a lot to do with it. I think we will do trick plays. I just don't think we'll do as many. I think trick plays are... I love trick plays. I do love trick plays. I love it when the play is so awesome that it fools me while I'm watching it. I'm watching a different dude run with the ball, but he doesn't have the ball. It's going the other way, and the cameraman got fooled too. Those are the type of trick plays that I like. All right. Broski says, now everyone will see how good a coach Dan the Diva Campbell is really without Ben Johnson and AG. Yeah, it's going to blow your guys' mind too. It's going to blow your guys' mind too, because when you develop coaches and you develop culture, that's what happens, right? That's what happens. Dan Campbell is going to prove that he is an awesome coach. Detroit Lions bad guys. Did someone say backup punter? Heck yeah, let's go.
Say hello to my little friend.
And I will do a video on the backup punter, but it's just going to be one video, bad guy. It's only going to be one video. Last year, when you're going 6 days a week during the off season I'm not Woodward Sports, okay? Woodward Sports covers all sports. I am only Lions on here. So to do Lions 365 days a year, the backup punter is going to need 6 or 7 videos dedicated to just him, the backup punter. Let's see where he went to junior high school. I love spending time with you guys, though. I mean, I may just come on here just to vent to you guys, and we may talk about something different. I don't know what we're going to do. The off season, we've been going hardcore on this for the last 3 years, and I'm still trying to figure things out. I think I got the in season figured out. We got a good method going right here, but we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do during these off season, because I want to keep everybody engaged. During the season, we usually get 100 people on here watching us at a time, and now there's 11 people watching us. It's just because there's just not as much of an interest in the off season. And especially on here where it's NFC North teams, where all 4 teams have been eliminated from the playoffs. So I know for a fact that the football fans that are on this live stream right now are the hardest core type of football fans that you can get. Especially when it comes into the off season. So yes, we can do some backup punter stuff. Wow, another Bear fan in here. Broski Bear again. I'm referring to the Lions going 30 years in between playoff wins and never playing in a Super Bowl. Wow, we didn't know that. We followed the team the whole time, and we never knew that it's been 30 years. Why do you think that we're happy right now? Even though you lose in the first round of the playoffs, finally you get to look at a season and go, oh man, how are we going to win any? Are we going to have a winning record? That was our lives for years. It's like, you ain't going to break my spirit, broski. We keep messing your team up. Now, I'm confident in my team going forward because I've actually seen my players play good before. You're confident. You've never seen any of these players play really, really good before. And you're confident because you got my offensive coordinator as your head coach and a couple of my players. So now you're all confident because you have some of the players that we have and some of the coaches that we had that made us successful. And we're going to come in and talk about our 30 years of dysfunction. Like, I think Lion fans can cut off the past and say, wow, it hasn't really ever been good. I've never really witnessed good. So it hasn't been good until Dan Campbell got here. He's the best coach that's ever been in Detroit. So I don't have to think about before 2021. Even though Packer fans like to bring it up every 5 seconds that they won in 2010. Okay, that's fine, but that doesn't help you now. And right now, the Lions are the best team in the NFC North. And there's no disputing that. Zero dispute. None. You can't get a victory in between all three of you against the Lions. So as far as the little pond right here, Lions are the king of that little pond. We got the little pond. We're trying to become big king of the big pond. We ain't never been king of the big pond. But some people think that you got to be king of the little pond before you can get to the big pond. We've been to the big pond a couple times and some big sharks in there. The 49er shark and the Commander shark. And really the biggest shark of them all, Patrick Mahomes, who nobody can beat. Really, the most depressing part of this offseason so far has just been the fact that Patrick Mahomes is so damn good, and we're just living in this football world of his. None of us really have any hope. Are you really going to beat that team? Josh Allen gets in there, and he's coming at Patrick Mahomes like Jim Kelly did. Jim Kelly back in the day, that dude was awesome. Never could win the Super Bowl. It was the best team, best quarterback, best team in the AFC for like 6 straight years. Made 5 Super Bowls. And that's Josh Allen. It's like that it's weird to see history repeating itself like that. They got the Senior Bowl going right there, and thank you, Steve. We will be covering some of that. We hitting the free agency. I'll hit a video up on every single free agency signing that there is for the Lions. I will put honorable mentions in for the other 3 teams when you guys sign stuff too, because that affects our team. But I don't do Packer shows. I'm not going to break down their offseason. I'm not going to go into detail on what the Bears do, but I will mention the things that they do as it pertains to how it affects the Lions. Oh, so Lions going for a 3-peat this year on the division titles. No division titles. And maybe you guys are right. Maybe the Lions will end up winning so many division titles that we can become like the Packers. Yeah. Oh, it's just another division title. Put it over there with the rest. Throw them over there to the side. Stick that division title over there with the other pile of division titles. We won so many I've lost count. No, Lions fans are jacked up. We're jacked. We're jacked. We won 2 division titles in a row. Our participation trophies are building up. Got a couple of them now. Duo. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We got a Super Bowl matchup. The Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs again. Patrick Mahomes going to get his third? Probably will. Frank the Tank says, it's funny how the Bear fans, Viking fans, Green Bay fans talk all this crap about the Lions. Say that they're no good. And they're 10-2. It amazes me. But that's trash talk, right? It's like Michigan fan out there. Michigan fan trying to downplay the fact that Ohio State won the national championship. Oh, how can you count that national championship? You didn't even beat your rival or win the division. No, they won a tournament to determine the national champion. They actually took a harder road than any team in history because they made a 12-team tournament instead of a 14 tournament. And Michigan fan is so arrogant to believe that a regular season win should trump the fact that Ohio State won the national title tournament. A 5-loss team. Like, that is the epitome of Michigan arrogance right there. And I don't care if you're a Michigan fan, I'm sorry. It's all good. You know, if you want to take that, if you want to have that Green Bay Packer mentality, that's fine. Oh, but we used to be so good. Oh, we won the national title last year, and we beat you in the regular season. Only problem is we lost 5 games. You lose 5 games. I couldn't imagine if that worked anywhere else, right? You lose 5 games. And you know what? You deserve to be able to talk crap because you beat your rival. You won your rival game, right? You know, you beat the Buckeyes. You won. But Ohio State turns around and wins 4 games in a row in a tournament. And really, you thought that was going to be the end of their season. But no, they persevered, they came through, and they won the national title despite losing to their rival. I couldn't imagine if that worked in any other sport. Could you imagine? Okay, at the end of the season, so let's paint this out. Let me make fun of Michigan fan here. This would be like the arrogance right here. This is Michigan arrogance. That would be like Kansas City's going to win the Super Bowl, right? There's Kansas City. They win the Super Bowl. Whoa, no, wait a minute. But here come the Raiders. No, Michigan. Here come the Raiders. Hey, you didn't win your division. And we beat you during the regular season, so we're the Super Bowl champs. That's Michigan arrogance for you right there. You won a regular season game. That's like Green Bay Packer arrogance. You won a title years ago, so you're better now. Stop it. Michigan, you're just making yourself look like you are. Makes you look bitter. It's like complaining about the referees. Don't do that. Don't do that. You can do that. Keep doing it. But if you think for a second that Ohio State fans, which I am one, I'm all broken up because Michigan beat me this year, but like I look at my tainted national title trophy like it means anything less. Doesn't mean anything less. It's a national title. And you know what? In 5 years, no one's going to give a shit which teams they lost to in the regular season. This is the Lion Villain Report. I'm your host, Russell Wayne. We're in the off season, baby. We're in the off season. Patrick said, or Adam says that AFC, it's all flags. Patrick can't lose. And Frank the Tank says, all a Michigan fan. So you know what? This isn't all Michigan fans, Frank. There's only a couple of them that are out there that are throwing this garbage out there, and it really just makes your team, well, at least the fan base, anybody that posts something like that, it just really makes them look stupid. It makes them really look like they're sour and that they can't get Ohio State out of their head because they tried their best to try to keep them from winning the national title. And, you know, you thought that it was over, but they persevered. And they won. So to come out afterwards and try to, especially after you win a national title where you're accused of cheating, Ohio State didn't cheat. They won. They had an unfortunate loss there. I mean, it sucks to lose your rival 3-4 years in a row, but they didn't cheat. They won 4 games to win the national title. It's not like it was an easy thing. So I appreciate you coming out there and saying that, because I've been an Ohio State fan forever, and during the 20 years that I didn't even give Michigan fan a hard time about losing. You know, most Michigan fans just tuned them out. But now that they've won 4 in a row, it's like you come out of the woodworks and it's like, wow, man. You got dominated for 20 years, and now you have control of the rivalry. And the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes got to put that in the back of their head, especially for next year. But before you talk all the crap, Michigan, you got to before you talk all of the crap and give the Buckeyes crap, you guys got to lose less than 5 games. Like, it is what it is, man. You did beat Ohio State, but Ohio State truck sticked 3 of the teams that truck sticked you. You got murdered by Oregon. You got murdered by Texas. But it is what it is, though. So, but there isn't any Ohio State fans that are like drying their tears with the national championship trophy because Michigan won 1 regular season game. It still counts as a natty. It's not less of a natty, but ours isn't any more than the Michigan natty. If anything, I'm looking at the Big Ten going, hey, where's that tough SEC at? What happened, SEC? I thought you guys were the best. That looks like back-to-back Big Ten national championships to me. I live in Michigan, so it's like it's weird for me in the rivalry because I'll only root against Michigan on 1 game during the entire season. I'm one of those people. I want my teams tough. I loved the end of the season for the Lions. You get a game that only happens every once in a while. Minnesota against the Lions for the number 1 seed for the division title. Games like that don't come along every year where it means so much. And I love games like that. So when I look at the national championship or the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry, I want both of the teams to be undefeated when they play because I want it to mean more. Who gives a crap if 2 7-5 teams play a rivalry game? It only means something when it's, undefeated teams. Or, one-loss teams where everything's on the line. John says, so are you going to do shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? I'm going to do shows as needed, John. There was information that was given out today or over the last couple days with John Morton and, Calvin Shepard. There's information that we needed to talk about today that was out there. I hadn't put my take on it yet. So, I probably will come in Friday and do it. I think it is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It may end up moving to just Monday, but as needed. So if brand new news comes out, you can depend on me coming out the next day and talking about it. Is that a good enough answer for you, John? Because I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, and you guys can help me out too. If there's only a few people that are on here, however you guys want to handle it, I'm willing to handle the off season in any way possible. So, but I am going to take off for right now. But I do wanted to put a shout out to NFL Shop. That's our affiliate marketing partner. You can save up to 25% off of your order by scanning the villain code. Use the villain code and save right there from our affiliate marketing partner. This is the Lion Villain Report. You can join me as needed during the off season right here for all of the new information. I'll put my takes, the villain takes, on every major thing that happens in this off season. So we appreciate the live viewers. We appreciate everybody that's watching it on the replay. So we're looking forward to it. But I probably will see you again Friday. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call it. I'm going to see you on Friday. I will do a Friday show. We'll come back on here. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays might be it, John. You might have decided this for me. You might have decided this for me because it does seem a little bit better. It might only be Monday during the very, very down times. But we do got free agency coming up. We do got the Senior Bowl coming up, like the stuff that Steve said. But Steve says, you know what? I get it, man. You guys get the trash talking in. No trophies. We have 4 trophies in our stadium. There's 4 trophies in our stadium, Steve. You guys got 13 titles. The Lions have 4. They just called them Super Bowls later. Don't downplay it. Don't downplay the stuff because I know that Packer fan is trying to roll in that 3rd in a row so they can be as good as the Kansas City Chiefs. 67 was the first Super Bowl. The Packers won the championship in 66. If you want to count that trophy, you got to count the Lions' 4 titles. Just so you know. Just so you know. Have a blessed day. Faith, family, and football. To Mark G. That's right. And just also know this, Steve, that your team got swept by my team. No trophy for you, no trophy for me. But we got 2 victories over you this year. Head to head, baby. You can't beat Dan Campbell. You won't beat Dan Campbell. And it's just going to keep on being a beatdown every year because you're just not as good. You're just always going to be a little bit behind. You're going to be good, just not as good. But that's fine. It's faith, family, then football on here. I can talk trash because I love you guys. I just hate your teams. I can't stand your teams. Hate your teams. But I love you guys. Faith, family, then football. Use football. Spend time with your family and create memories. Don't let football use you. I'm going to take off. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again in Jesus' name. And that'll be on Friday. Amen. I'll see you guys on Friday. You guys have a great couple days. Unless something brand new comes out, I may see you tomorrow. There may be a small chance that I may see you tomorrow if some brand new news comes out. But if nothing new comes out, I will see you on Friday. God bless you guys. Talk to you
Yo,
soon.
the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when